All right, now we're moving over to number 5. It's factoring. 64x plus 16y plus 32. What's our common factor? A number that goes into all of them. Charlie, Owen.
8.
8. Now, the key is, most people can recognize that. The key is, what do you do with it? 8 divides into all 3 of these, but how do we divide those out? Would this be a suitable thing to do? It is. This is what you should do. Right? You divide 8 into all of those and put the 8 over here. 8 is our magic number for this question. So do that. Now, where does the remainder go? In the big brackets. This is factoring, and this is the way to do it. It will help you to follow this method. It's like the pocket system. I really emphasize you follow the pocket system, and I hope you did, because it works. Same thing with factoring. I'm going to grill this. You must take the common factor, divide it into each of the factors, and take it, put it outside of the bracket or the parentheses, and then the remainder of these divisors is going to be in here. So, Emily, what's 64x divided by 8?
It is, hold on.
Help her out, somebody?
7.
No.
8x.
8x, good. And then 16y divided by 8? Jonathan? 16y divided by 8? 2 what? Good, be careful. Don't drop those variables. What's 32 divided by 8?
4.
Good. Are we done?
Yeah.
Almost. I think we could have taken more than 8 out. Guess what?
Look at that.
It's not completely factored, because guess what? 2 can be divided into each of those. So we're not completely done. Sometimes that happens. 8 wasn't the best one. What's our best factor?
2.
No. I mean, I'm saying, what should we have picked from the beginning?
2.
Not 2.
16.
16 would have been better. You want to find the greatest common factor. And that was a good example of what not to do. I mean, it was close. It wasn't wrong. I mean, it's just that you didn't get the greatest one out. So you would have had to keep going. So if you take 16 out, what do you get? 64 divided by 16 is what, Katrina? 4x. And what is 16y divided by 16? Kia? 1y. Good. And 32 divided by 16 is?
2.
There it is. Now, you notice that nothing goes into all 3 of those. You can't get 2 going into any of those, or nothing, or all of them at the same time. So that is the final factored form. Okay? You don't need that 1. You can leave it invisible. Okay? But it's not wrong either way. It's fine. That's the answer. Number 6, collecting like terms. What do we have to do before we collect any like terms to this one? Adam. Distribute. Good. 6 goes on to 2x, 6 goes on to 4, negative 3 onto 3x, and negative onto a negative. Negative 3 times negative 2. What's 6 times 2x, Alara? 12x. Good. Allie, what's 6 times 4?
24.
So is it plus 24 or minus 24?
Plus 24.
Good, because of the plus sign. What about this negative 3 times 3x? What's the negative 3 times 3, Carolyn?
Negative 9.
Negative 9x. Be careful.
Oh, right.
And now the tricky one. Who wants to do it? Michael.
Negative 3 times negative 2 is
Equals
6.
positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive 6. I've seen people forget that time and time again. Don't forget, a negative times a negative is a positive. I hope you're writing this down. Write it down, please. Write it down. Even if you got it right, write it down again. Do it again and again. So now what do we do? Now we've done step 1, which is to distribute. What do we do to these different terms, Katrina?
You collect the like terms.
That's right. What's 12x minus 9x?
3x.
Good.
Plus 30.
3x plus 30. In fact, I'm going to take it one step further and write them out again, because that way you can see clearly. 12x minus 9x plus 24 plus 6. So you don't leave it to chance by doing it in your head. You rewrite it on the next step, and you get 12x minus 9x is 3x plus 30. You can see it clearly. Put a box around it. You've got your answer. Bingo! Good job. Everybody see that? Taylor?
Why did you switch the 9 to the 24?
just to make it
Because I'm collecting like terms. X's go with X's. You know, birds of a feather flock together. The same kind of things should stay together. Numbers stay together because they're different. 6 and 24 are numbers. They don't have any letters, so we get them away from the things that have letters, the X's. and we keep them together, then we can collect them. 12 minus 9 is 3, right? So 12x minus 9x is 3x, and 24 and 6 is 30. Nice, good question, I'm glad you asked it. That's our answer. Can that be factored?
Yes.
Yes, it can. What's the greatest common factor?
3.
3, right. So we divide out 3, right? Remember our method, our agreement? And
Plus 10.
the 3 comes out here, and we get x plus 10. Good job, Ari. And that's the final answer. Factored and finished
Do we have
and
to
done.
factor it?
Yeah, you do. You do. You have to factor it. It said, well, this one didn't say collect and factor, so you wouldn't have got it wrong, but sometimes the question will ask you to collect like terms and factor. Be careful. Make sure you do it. Number 7. What about number 7? It just says collect like terms. How do we collect those like terms? Taylor, which ones of these do you want to put together? Which ones should we put together?
11 and 5 and...
The 4? Okay, good. 4x squared. Let's put 4x squared together, xy squared, sorry, plus 11xy squared together, because they're birds of a feather, flocking together. And what else?
5 and 1.
Yeah, 5xy and this xy? Yes, good for you. I'm going to do them in green, just because I like green. 5xy plus xy. And then we just, what do we do with that 1?
You just add it.
Poor old 1 is added at the end, the lonely one, just dragging its way through the door. There he is. Okay, so 4 and 11, what do we do here to collect these terms? Want to help them out, Allie?
Should it be 15xy squared?
And no, it's
No.
15
xy
xy squared, 15xy squared. Because these are
Because
xy squared. They don't suddenly become something else. If I add 2 lions and I find 2 more lions, you get 4 lions.
There we go.
You don't get sort of 4 something else's or 2 something else's plus 2. Do you know what I'm saying? These are xy squareds.
Gotta keep the lions and the
And
dolphins.
the xy squareds flock together. Okay, they don't suddenly become something different. If you have 2 of these kind of birds with yellow feathers and 2 more of those kind of birds with yellow feathers come along, how many birds with yellow feathers do we have? 4 birds with yellow feathers.
But they still have
But they
yellow
still-
feathers.
They don't become
Yeah, they
4
become 4.
birds with yellow feathers to the 4th.
Yeah.
No, they don't. So, okay? And lions, they run with lions. Dolphins swim with dolphins, and they don't run or swim together, because dolphins don't run and lions don't swim. Well, do lions swim?
Yes.
Yeah,
Lions
like
swim. But you know what I mean. So what about 5xy plus xy? What about that one? A little tricky, Emily? What are we going to get here?
6xy.
Why? What? There's no number there. What is it?
It's the invisible 1.
Invisible 1. And what about poor lonely 1? 1 is the loneliest. No, you sing it. It's better. You're better.
No.
Come on, sing for the
good.
camera,
Why is
man. Okay, here we go. Evaluate. This is tricky. Did you try it? What do we do first?
Okay, well you substitute A for -3 and B for 2.
Okay, but first I'm writing my pockets, right? Don't forget your pockets. Don't skimp out of the pockets. And you're right, though. We're going to put a -3 in for A. And what are we going to put in for B?
2.
Good. Now, the tricky thing is, what do we do first? Remember PEMDAS? Alexis, you're on a roll.
Left to right.
Left to right.
So -2 times -3 is 6 times 2 is 12. Squared would be 144.
So what about exponents? Don't we do exponents?
yeah,
Why don't you do it first?
What do we do first, though?
Exponents.
Well, how do you spell PEMDAS?
Parentheses.
What's the P for?
Parentheses.
Right, she's right. Parentheses first. Don't get confused. Remember PEMDAS. Parentheses. -2 times -3 is 6. Times 2 is 12. We're left with 12 squared. Now we do exponents, and what do we get?
144.
144.
Yeah.
Did anybody not get that? Because you need to study this if you didn't get it. Right? -2 times -3 is equal to 6 times 2 squared. By the way, anybody following the baseball race here? Following the NL East race or the American East race? 1.5 games behind. The Yankees again are catching up on the Red Sox every September. Or let me get up to speed here. A house or something.
House is bomb, but that's on Tuesdays.
Heroes.
Yeah. Heroes sucks.